Roger. This is the Family Showdown! Howdy folks, today we're looking at what could be our longest title ever for a top 10 list. Our top 10 games that we've played before, but haven't played this year. Meaning this calendar year of 2016.
Yes. Now obviously, normally this would make me very sad, but in reality, let's face it, we have jobs and children and other things going on, so it's pretty easy to not find time to play all of these games. What a shock, right? So these are obviously on the want to play list, and these are our favorites. So.
Right, but I was pleasantly surprised how few games were on this list that I really want to play. I mean, there's some good ones, but we've played a lot of games this year.
That's true, and we try really hard to specifically target our favorites to play them over and over too.
Right.
So.
Well, I have a couple honorable mentions.
I do too.
And the reason these games are honorable mentions is because even if I wanted to, I probably couldn't have played them.
Because you don't own them?
Exactly, because I do not own them. And just to go over them quickly,
oh, I know one of them.
One of them is Blood Bowl.
Oh.
Which I do not own anymore, but is coming out soon, supposedly. And the other one is Twilight Imperium 3, which we came this close to buying in the Ding and Dent at the Dice Tower Con.
Yes, but it has that evil minimum 3-player thing that makes it so tough to pull the trigger on a big game like that.
Yep. So what about you?
Must be nice, because I haven't played that game at all yet. That's on my want to play, but have never played. I don't even have a top 10 for that, except for Twilight Imperium. Oh, my honorable mentions. We were just talking about this, actually. One's kind of a so honorable mention. It's Dominion, but I've played Prosperity and Adventures, and actually, I think overall we like Prosperity better anyway, so it's still Dominion, but it's a different Dominion, so take that as you will. And then the other one we were just recently talking about was Battle of 5 Armies, and we were doing really good. We had made a list of games that we were wanting to go through and play, and we kind of got stalled out at this one because it takes so long to play it and set it up and everything, so we just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Perhaps more on that later.
Interesting.
All right, start us off.
All right, my number 10, you may or may not be all excited about, but is Ticket to Ride. And I like this one because it's usually one that we would play with family or friends that don't necessarily game a lot, and it's a pretty casual little fun game. But I don't know, I just find it's really fun to play with people that don't always get to play a lot of board games. It's really enjoyable that way, and it's kind of fun to see people exploring the board gaming world with it. So I really enjoy playing that one, and I look forward to hopefully finding an opportunity to play that one this year.
Yeah, it seems like the lighter games like that, we kind of cycle through them, right? We get new ones, and we try them out with people, and it takes us a while to circle back around to play those again.
Honestly, I mean, if it's just you and me, for us it's aged to a point, because it's almost too casual a game for us to throw down. Lately we've been wanting some brain melting games, so that one obviously is not a brain melter. That one's a nice lighter casual game, and so if we're going to be doing that, we usually want a little short, quick, easy game. So if we're going to play a light game, it probably isn't going to be that one, so it kind of slips through the cracks.
Yep.
But your number 10?
That's a good one. My number 10, I believe you just played like a couple of days ago. My number 10's Jamaica.
Oh, yes, I did.
Well, I haven't played this one in a long while. It's been a long time since I played that. Jamaica is a fun little pirate themed race game that it plays a large number of people, and it's a good one to throw down with just your casual gamer types, and it's a fun game. It just hasn't hit the table in a while. Mainly because I really don't enjoy it as much two-player, because you can really get spread out and not interact very much. So that's probably one of the reasons why. And like I said, this is another one that's really light, and we got so many new light games that we cycle through, and it hasn't made it back for me.
And that one's not ideal two-player for what you said, so it's not going to hit the table. Yeah, I just luck out that one of my besties that our kids all can play together, and we can throw down a board game occasionally, so I got to throw down that game, so it's pretty awesome.
Yep, so my number 10, Jamaica.
That's a good one. All right, my number 9 is one that we do like to throw down occasionally together, and that is New York 1901. It's a fun little city builder where you're trying to fit your buildings in these neighborhoods and getting bonus points based off of what streets they're off of and things like that. And it's semi-casual too, but it's a little more to it than Ticket to Ride. I would say it's a little bit heavier, but it's still one of those that you could use as an introductory game if you are pretty sure people are going to pick it up quickly.
Yeah, and that one you can add a little bit. I think there's like some bonus cards or something you can add to it to make it a little more complex with the more gamer types. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's kind of a next step maybe from Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
Same level-ish, but maybe a little more there.
A little more to it.
All right, so number 9.
Number 9.
My number 9 is one of those ones that suffer from the 3-player thing, and actually it really plays better with 4 or 5, maybe the sweet spot for it. And that is Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
That one, it's a really, really fun game, but it has a couple things going against it. It's, like I said, you need probably 4 or 5 people to play it,
At least.
and it's a long game. It is. If you're our typical game day, that would be half the game day probably just to play that one game. So
yes, but gosh, if you do have a full contingent of players for that one, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Even though it runs long, there's usually a lot of interaction with that game, at least with our particular group. There's a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, we haven't played this one in a long time. It's been a long time, and I really wanted to. I want to play that one again soon, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a great game. So yeah, if you like the hidden traitor game and fighting against the bad guys and trying to defeat the odds, that's a fantastic game for that. But yes, it can run very long. So, all right, my number 8 is Mission Red Planet. And I really enjoy the space theme with that, and the back and forth between the players with that can get pretty exciting. And it's one that we seem to enjoy both 2-player and multiplayer, so it's one that's probably really not that difficult to get to the table. I don't know why it just hasn't yet, for whatever reason. So
it's got a little bit tricked up 2-player rules, but it's not too bad. It's still fun. It's fun to play that way.
I like that one a lot.
All right, so 8
number
for me.
8.
My number 8. Hopefully, will get knocked out very soon. Hopefully, cross your fingers. And that is Coup.
Oh yes.
We haven't played that one in a while. That one's a great, like introductory social. The hidden role games.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like the very lowest level of in terms of complexity for the hidden role games, and it's a fun one. It plays really fast. It has player elimination, but it's still fun to watch when you get eliminated. It's It's a really. I mean, usually when we play it 3-4 times in a row.
I was just thinking that.
It's just so much fun. You're like, oh, I'm gonna try something different this time, and it's just a really good one. For whatever reason, we just haven't. Again, it suffers from the.
You need at least
I think
2 players.
you need.
Really, to make it good, you need 4 or 5 or more.
Yeah, but I think it plays 2. I don't know if we've ever played it 2 players, but I think it plays 2-player.
I guess we'll have to try it now.
Yeah, but it's best really in large groups. I'd say 4+ probably at least to play that one.
Oh, to make it optimal, yeah. And it's just, there's so much back and forth in that game, and you can just fake your way through and say you're somebody, and you don't necessarily want to jump the gun and challenge somebody on what you might even know is a lie, just because you could get assassinated, lose your life, and then you're out. And it just happens so fast. It's a really fun game.
Yeah.
I like Coup.
Yep, good one.
All right, my number 7 is one of your faves, and that is Marco Polo. And that game, this is a game that I really enjoy. There's a lot of different options for what you can do to try to get your path to victory in this one. You can decide whether or not you want to just stick to the market, basically, like kind of narrow it down, or do you want to travel, do a little of both, do a little bit of all sorts of things. And to me, it almost ends before you're ramped up to full capacity. It just escalates so quickly. I really enjoy that game. It's really fun, and I know that that's one that you really enjoy.
Yep, one of my favorites.
I'm trying to remember, does it have much of a 2-player variant?
You just block some spaces, like you do in a lot of the dice placement games, like Alien Frontiers is that way. You just block some spots off, and that's pretty much the only difference.
So, yeah, fun either way. That's a good one.
Yep. So what are we doing? Number
7.
7? Number 7 was already mentioned, and that was New York 1901.
Hey.
Yeah, this one, I don't know why this one hasn't hit the table. I don't know, it just kind of... We just have these games we just kind of hide in the shadows and we miss them somehow, and this is one of them, because it's a really fun, quick, light game. I mean, it's just it just has some strategy and where you put your buildings and things like that, but it's really quick, really fast. It's kind of almost an area control-ish.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
kind of game.
Yeah, you do take over areas and stuff. Well, I didn't even think about this, but Caitlin's probably big enough; she could totally play that game.
That's true.
We may have a third player starting to sneak into some of these games.
And what I like about it is you just, for 2-player, you just kind of block off some spots.
Yeah, and that's it. You still play the game the same way, which is really good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm surprised that it's higher on my list. That's interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, because I think you like that one a little more than I do.
I don't know. Well, I didn't necessarily go off of my ratings, but how excited I am to play these as much as, and I coupled that with my ratings from when I made my list. I guess I probably should have told you that at the beginning. Yeah. Because there's some that just, they may not be as good of a game per se, but gosh, we have so much fun playing them, or we have so much fun with a group, with our particular group playing that game, and so that ranks it higher in my list.
Yeah, that's kind of a better way. I mean, I put that factored in, but I really went with more how much I like the game as opposed to how anxious I am to play it. So that's a good, that's another way to look at it.
Yeah. That's me causing trouble. Never look at things the same way. All right, so my number 6, I know has to be on your list somewhere, probably much higher up, and that is Spyfall. Because that game, again, you can't play it really 2-player. I'm not even sure how you would even want to try that, but it's an awesome group game, and with our group we have a lot of fun with it, and usually yuck it up and play the character roles that they have for the additional variant you can add to the game, and it's just so much fun because everybody gets into the roles, and the poor spy, whoever gets stuck with that, has the hardest time trying to figure out what's going on and what you need to, where on earth am I, and it's a lot of fun. It's great to see who slips up first. The spy or someone gives too many clues, or
Spyfall is one of my favorite games, but I played this on a camping trip with the guys.
What?
So I've played it this year.
There you go.
Or it would be probably the tippy top of my list. So
I can see that.
But I've already played Spyfall.
Lucky dog. All right, fine. All right, so what's your number 6 then?
My number 6, the reason this is probably on my list and the reason it's so high up on my list is they just came out with a new app for it. And that is the Descent.
Oh,
Second edition.
Right.
They came out with an app that runs the Overlord, the bad guys, for you, so you can play it as a true co-op game. And we have, for whatever reason, we haven't pulled that out and played it. And I'm really kind of excited to do that. And that's probably the reason, kind of using your methodology, that's probably the reason why it's so high
on your list,
is the fact that
you might actually get to play this game.
That we can play this together, and we don't have to worry about running the bad guy. So
that's awesome.
My number 6, Descent.
I forgot about that, or that probably would be on here somewhere too. Now that you said that, pretty cool. And that is one I'm looking forward to playing because we sort of played it once, and you did the DM bit and stuff, but it kind of felt flat, just because. We're not really playing together. I don't know. Yeah. It just seemed like you were running a show for me, and I didn't enjoy that as much. And I know you can do that and get into it, but I don't know as much. It just seemed like we weren't really getting to play together.
Yeah.
So this will be a neat. I like that idea of the app. That's pretty cool. All right, so we are at number 5. My number 5 is Smash Up, and this is one that I like card games, and I like the throwdown. Style that Smash Up has, and just the goofy combinations that you can do with that. And we recently got for Caitlin the Pretty Princess version. Did we get that one pretty much when it first came out?
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah, and we haven't had a chance to really play that much lately for whatever reason, and so I look forward to throwing down with that game. It's just a lot of in your face beating you up with cards. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that Caitlin hadn't asked you to pull that game out and play this year. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's one of Caitlin's favorite
That is
favorite
one of her
games.
favorites. I think she's just been distracted by other shiny things in the room.
Yeah, probably.
A lot of new games this year for them, so.
Yeah, whatever game that is in her age group that she played is her favorite game.
It's hard for her to pick a favorite. I have that problem too sometimes, though.
Yeah.
So, all right. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is next on our list of our going back and revisiting games list. And that's the Battle of Five Armies. So yeah, I really enjoyed this game. It kind of takes War of the Ring and condense it down into just fighting. You still have some strategic decisions and things like that, but really it's fighting and area control more so than a long-term kind of campaign feel to it that the War of the Ring has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why this one has it. Again, that's probably because it's so long, but I'm really looking forward to playing this one again. I really enjoyed it when we played it before. So
it's funny because I really do enjoy playing this game, but for some reason I always have this mindset. I'm like, oh, it's a war game. It's going to be long and involved in this and that, and it really doesn't take all that long to play that. And every time I pull it out, it always for some reason surprises me, and it's like, oh yeah, this is easier to play than I think it is.
Yeah.
It just looks like a really heavy, super involved game, and it really isn't that bad. War of the Rings probably way more complicated, really and truly, because there's so much else politically going on and stuff besides the war thing. You have to bring people to war, and you've got the fellowship you also are trying to follow through with, and this has none of that. It's just the straight up battle, and I don't know, it has this weird stigma, and every time I play it I'm always surprised again. Oh yeah, this really isn't
it just
that
takes
bad.
a chunk of War of the Ring and kind of pulls it out and makes a game out of that piece of
and it's got great components, and again, minis that we should paint someday, and that's pretty cool. Someday. Alright, so that's a good one. So we are on to number 4, and I'm kind of cheaty.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my gosh. Alright, I'll put them in as 4 and 3. They're kind of together, though. But my number 4 is Roll for the Galaxy. And I really...
Well, I know what your number 3 is.
Yes, you do. And everyone else probably does too now. But I really enjoy that game. That's one of those games, it's probably one of my top dice games, really and truly. I love the way that game plays. It's really fun. The space theme's cool, and the way that the dice work and how you maneuver your turns because of how you rolled and this and that. I just really love how that game goes. It's a really fun game. And we love playing a 2-player, so...
It kind of shocks me that we haven't played that this year. I could have swore we have.
I thought so too, but I went and looked specifically on our... Board Game Geek plays. And
we must have played it just at the tail end of
last
year.
It was like December 11th.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, it just seems like we played that one this year. That's funny. Yeah, that's a good one. That's obviously I love it a lot more than I do, but I still enjoy it quite a bit. And it's fun. I mean, I like rolling dice, and it gives you lots of ways to change your dice and maneuver your dice, and it's just really interesting how you can combo off of your planets and things, and it's a real fun game.
It is, and I really like the Ambitions. Is it Ambitions expansion?
Ambition.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's great. That really makes that game all the more better. That's one of those few expansions that I would say I would highly recommend just buying that and the game and the expansion right off the bat because it's that good.
Yeah, it gives you some more choices and some wild cards.
And new dice.
The dice are like wild dice. They have
they're different.
They have some of them have multiple choices you can make with them, and it adds another dimension to the game. Yeah.
It's very awesome.
Yep.
So what's your number 4 then?
My number 4, I think, was already mentioned. Mission Red Planet.
Yeah.
I really like this game. It's almost like 2 games in one. Because you have like the where you're putting your astronauts on the ship and use these roll cards. And so there's kind of an area control on the ships and deciding when to send them off and things like that. Kind of reminds me a little of Emotep, a new game where you put your blocks on the sled and things like that. And other people decide where they go, right? It's kind of that same. I didn't even think about that, but it has the kind of the same thing. And then on top of that, you have the area control on the planet and gathering resources. So it's kind of got 2 layers to it, and I really like games like that have kind of multiple things going for it at the same time, right? So,
yeah, and it's fun. That's another one that's really fun, 2-player and multiplayer, because so much can be going on, and you can make it as crazy and attacky as you want it to be. You can be nice to people, or you could be like, you know what, I know where you're going, and so we're going to send this ship elsewhere, and it's just...
Or blow the ship up.
Yeah, just sacrifice people in the process. It doesn't matter. It's all in fun, right?
And, the 2-player, I kind of like the 2-player in the fact that you play your character and a neutral character, and it adds another level of strategy that you don't have in the regular game. That you got to think, okay, I may not get the majority here, but I can my neutral guy may be able to get the majority there, right? To kind of kind of knock the other player down.
Yeah, it's pretty sneaky.
Yeah,
sneaky.
And I didn't think I forgot that it also has the hidden cards as well.
Yep.
So that's even another layer on top of that. So yeah, it's just a really great area control role selection game.
Yep.
Mission Red Planet.
Like that one. Well, it's kind of similar to the roll race for the galaxy thing too, because what you're doing is based off of the cards or dice that you would pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I like that. I like that mechanism a lot. In fact, I like it so much that my number 3,
Segue.
yes, segue, is Race for the Galaxy. I know, like I said, it's kind of cheaty. I almost should just have combined those into one, but they play differently.
Yeah, they play different.
So, Race for the Galaxy is the card-based version in the original game of those, and I don't know, I enjoy cards. What can I say? So I enjoy the card version of that, and it does play slightly different when you compare it to Roll for the Galaxy. There's different things going on a little bit, and different abilities and whatnot, but I like them both. What can I say?
Yeah, I prefer Roll, but they're both really good. They're really good games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good choices. All right, so number 3 has already been mentioned. I'm seeing a theme here.
Copycat.
My number 3 is The Voyages of Marco Polo.
I called that one.
Yeah, this one.
Like that one.
I just love. This is like dice rolling worker placement games. I just really enjoy those, and this has got, like she said, so many different ways you can play it. I mean, you can just focus in on resources and doing contracts, or you can do the whole traveling thing and make that the focus, and you can get quite a bit of points doing that way. And the traveling gives you benefits, but it also helps you get the contracts. So you got to kind of balance it out, and before you know it, the game's over, right? That game is really it ramps up quick and is done quick, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I really enjoy it. Like you said, I even think it could go a little bit longer, but I love games where there's that tension. It's like, oh no, the game's about to end. I gotta scramble and do as much as I can. I like that. I mean, that's the whole point of worker placement that's where it gets its meat, is that tension, right? The tension of going to a spot before someone else, or you're running out of time. It just makes the game really, really exciting.
Well, and what I enjoy about that game too, that makes it exciting for me, is I have to keep my options open because, oh crap, what am I going to roll this turn is what I'm thinking. And then I have to react to my dice roll that usually is not ideal. But the neat thing about that game is there's so many different options that you're like, okay, I didn't get what I wanted, but what was my second choice? You know, and so you kind of finagle what you're going to do from there. And so sometimes my long-term goals change, but you can survive doing that. I still have a pretty decent record playing that game.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it is that everybody gets a character, a role, and they're powerful. Everybody has like really super powerful characters, so it's really interesting that you would think, oh, this one's so much better than this one, but it really is pretty balanced with the different powers. So, The Voyages of Marco Polo, my number 3.
Very good one, very good one. My number 2, I'm shocked I haven't, well, no, I'm not shocked. I'll be shocked if it's not on your list, though, is Pit.
You know, I think our 1s and 2s are going to be the same, which is funny. But anyway,
funny.
go ahead.
That is interesting.
Go ahead.
Very interesting. Question is which order yours are in. But Pit is just, it's an old classic. And every time we play it, it's just hilarious. And now that Nessa's older and doesn't freak out when she hears people yelling and throwing cards in each other's face, it gets much more fun.
You know, I think, was that the last time we played that?
Probably.
Gosh, it was almost 4 years ago? No, 3 years ago-ish?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was probably 3 summers ago.
Wow. We usually play at our house and Nessa's usually around, and when she was little, the excitement, everybody got louder and louder, and pretty soon we're shrieking at each other, throwing cards around, trying to get everybody to trade with us, and Nessa freaked out and was bawling, so we didn't play that game after
I thought everybody was mad at each other.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny
it was still
looking
kind
back
of
on
funny. Poor kid, though.
So my number 2 is Pit.
That's awesome.
And yeah, this game I've been wanting to play it, and for whatever reason it just hasn't. Rebecca suggested it at Dice Tower Con where you just grab it and hold up a sign and gather up people to play, and we probably should have, because
we're doing that next time. It's going to
so
happen.
much fun. I mean, it's just again, it's one of those games where it's your group, right? Because
It is.
everybody could be sitting around the table just kind of talking normally, but we
No.
take it to a whole nother level. It becomes like full contact pit and
Flip the table pit.
screaming and yelling and when someone gets ahead and points, you're like, I can't trade with you, and blah blah.
But they always end up having your card, so you're screaming to trade with them. It's great.
It's just
awesome.
it's just a really good game. I think I don't know how many gamers play it, but it's just a blast. And if you have a rowdy group that likes being obnoxious, then
It's a perfect
It's
game.
a great game.
It's a perfect game.
So yeah, Pit. Yeah, we got to get that one. Too bad that didn't play 2-player, right? It wouldn't be much of a game, right?
It's like, I'm not going to trade with you. You're going to win. Game over.
And our number 1 is Zaya.
Yay! We love this game.
And there's 2-player variants for this game around, but I don't know how well it plays 2-player. But that said,
we still play a 2-player.
We still play it 2-player, and the expansion takes one of those variants and kind of makes it part of the rules. So it has 1-player rules, 2-player rules. It has rules for, I think, all the player counts. I think it even has, like I said, 1-player rules.
When is this coming out?
I don't. Sometime I don't know. We signed the Kickstarter ended. I think it's sometime first part of next year. I think.
Oh wow!
It's gonna. I mean, it's the Kickstarter, so who knows when it's gonna. They were pretty good about the original game coming out, but
yeah, I forgot that was a Kickstarter game from the get-go, right?
Yep.
Wow.
I love Zaya. It's one of those games where you can pick what you want to do. You can be a merchant. You can be a pirate.
You can be both.
You can. You can live a life of crime. You can live a life of not crime. You can live a life of not crime and become a criminal. You can be a criminal for a while and
go straight.
reform your ways. Yeah, you can fly into a sun and explode. It's all sorts of. But basically, it's one of those games that reminds me a lot of Merchants and Marauders, that you can have choices in what you can do. You can do quests, you can do merchanting, you can mine resources and sell them. You can attack other players. You can attack NPCs. You can steal from other players. Missions that have you go and try to steal from other players, and you can blow people up if they get too far ahead. You can do all. I mean, just whatever you want to do. Yeah, and what I like about it, another thing I like about it is you go to a certain number of fame points, basically victory points. But there's cards that come out periodically that you can do certain things.
Yeah.
Like the first one to do this gets a fame point. First one to do this, and every game's a little different based on what cards come out.
That's true.
And also how the orientation of the tiles, where the planets in relation with each other, matter quite a bit. And the expansion that's coming out, there's a few little, kind of clunky rules with Zaya that they clarify. Like, there's chances where your planets that you need to basically you pick up resources here and you go over here to drop them off, can be right next to each other. It has a whole new resource system that's coming out that basically, as you sell more and more resources, they become less valuable. So it makes the other resources more valuable and things like that.
So you can't be a merchant churner
anymore.
You
can't churn. You
go back and forth planets.
Right. They don't want it anymore. Basically, if you sell too many of them, they don't want them anymore. So you have to, trade in some other things and go somewhere else. And it has all these different things going on. But the base game itself is great. And
oh my gosh.
And if you do end up with one of those merchant situations, you just park your ship there and blow them up. And if they're designed to be a merchant, they're going to be very well defended, so that you can prevent that.
Not that this has happened.
Not that this has happened before.
Because
But yeah, no, it's for whatever reason. Again, that's another one. What I like about it is that you can vary the length. You can say, okay, we're going to go to 10 fame points and do a short game, or we're going to go to 20 fame points and do an epic long game. And it's just got so much going for it, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't. Like I said, 2-player. It's good-ish, but there's been cases where she's off over here and I'm off over here, and we're basically playing solo at that point.
We're racing to the finish.
Yeah, it's just a race to get fame points, and when you have the more players you introduce, the more interaction you have. Invariably, someone's going to become.
You're always going to end up crossing over.
Right. Someone's going to become a pirate, and
an opportunist.
Yeah, but no, it's just a really good. They call it a sandbox game. I guess it's about as close as you're gonna get.
That's
on
like the sandbox game,
for
in my opinion.
For a board game, it
Yeah.
can be a sandbox game of doing. You can just pick and choose what you do
Yeah.
to win the game.
Yep.
So, Zaya.
So I guess you'll probably see us log these plays soon.
Zaya,
Both.
Legends of a Drift System. So,
Yep. That's
yeah.
a fun space game.
Yeah, really great space theme.
I see a huge sci-fi bent on our lists. It seems like we've been kind of neglecting our
I think there's a
games,
huge
too.
sci-fi bent on your list. I have
Yeah.
1, 2, I guess I have
Battlestar Galactica,
3. I have 3.
Zaya,
I have
yeah.
3 sci-fi games, but
That's
I
true.
have Marco Polo, and
Yeah.
Descent, and Battle of 5 Armies. So there's some fantasy there, ish.
Ish.
Well, there you go. There are our top 10 games that we've played before, but haven't played this year, and hopefully we'll correct this as soon as we can. So tell us what games you're itching to play that you haven't played in a while down in the comments, and if you like our stuff,
Subscribe.
bye.
Bye.